Was there a point, LeBron, in the fourth quarter where you realized that the rest of the starters weren't coming back?
I just played the game, and if they was coming to the scores table, then we'd be trying to keep the momentum going. But our second guys did a great job. J Mac gave us a huge boost today. Obviously, what Channing was able to do in Shump, they gave us a contribution, especially in the scoring department. And RJ was really good, in the fourth quarter. So it was good that we was able to close the game out.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what was it about that unit that was working tonight?
Well, we got stops and we made shots. And that's key in the fourth quarter.
What is now that you've been with him for almost a year, what has Channing meant, and why is he such a difficult matchup for Candy?
Well, first of all, he's 7 foot and can shoot with anybody in the league, and his intelligence on how he plays the game, and he's just comfortable in his role, and he's comfortable in himself personally. You know who he is. He don't step outside that. He's a great guy to be around, a great locker room guy, always positive, and they just want to help the team win. So it's always great to have someone like that around.
LeBron, the style of play that the Hornets present, do you like playing them on occasion because it seems to be a little different than most teams and the different challenges that they present?
Well, they're a very well-coached team with some really, really good players, and you always get up for the competition. So it's always fun going against that.
You guys set a record for most games to start the season, making at least 10 threes for your first 9. And when you look at, the Rockets just did it a couple of years ago, and you look at the Warriors are doing. Where are we headed? Where's this game headed when these teams are putting up these type of numbers and this type of efficiency with each other?
Well, the game changes from every decade. The game kind of changes, and right now it's kind of a point guard, 3-point driven league, and spacing is key. Tempo is key. Obviously, in the 90s, there was a lot of big guys that you throw the ball into the post. Everybody kind of work off that. In the 80s, it was a little running gun, too, because of, Magic and Showtime and those guys, and Isaiah as well. Right now the game is a lot of pick and roll play, a lot of great point guards, and, a lot of great shooting.
We may have asked you this during the run last year, I can't remember, but do you think they need to start tinkering with the distance of three-point lines and stuff like that, or too many guys making those?
No. You don't want to start messing with the rules too much. The game is great as it is. Right now, it's great for a reason. Guys are just getting better and have the ability to shoot further. But it comes to 3 points, no matter how far you can shoot, still count for 3 if you go in, and 2 if you make a layup or a dunk, and 1 if you make a free throw. It's all the same rules.
Sorry, you played on a team where you can look at the roster and see about 8 or 9 guys that you can rely on to shoot a 3-point shot, knock down a 3? Is that impressive stuff?
Well, it's a blessing for our team, and sometimes it can be a curse, because we can fall into the 3-point line a little bit too much as we've done in our one loss this year. So it's a fine line, but that's part of our game. It's to shoot the ball when the ball is moving and guys are open, so they got to take the looks.
We can feel comfortable saying that you and Kyrie are among the best finishers at the rim. Could you see a point where you guys shoot and make so many threes that teams force you to have to go, try to
force who? My teammates?
Take away the 3 to the point where they want you to drive.
Well, yeah, definitely that. You try to take away strengths for any team, and us included. I think opposing teams try to take away our strengths, but we just pose a threat to all facets of the game, not just shooting the ball. We put a lot of pressure in the paint with myself, Kyrie, and Kev. And, sometimes when we get going, it's natural tendencies to start helping out, and then that's when our guys get going as well. So we do a good job of just trying to read the game, react to it, and see what the defense gives us.
How did that evolution work? Because obviously you mentioned putting pressure on the paint. You, Kyrie, and Kevin, we know that's what you guys have, but then you've had personnel the last 2 years to enhance that ability. Did you know from the start that if we had these type of pieces, we can unlock another level, or did you kind of come to that realization as the last 2 years were playing out?
I pretty much know what personnel works for my type of basketball game, so I knew what we needed. I know it works for me, and I think our GM and our coaching staff has done a great job of fulfilling that. That's the byproduct of it.
You can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think you have this much shooting in Miami. Pure shooters.
I
Ray and Mike, but
Shane, correct?
Yeah, we had some,
That's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm wrong, but
we had some shooters.
But I didn't know if that was the plan. Kind of like Dave was saying, was that the plan coming in was to build this team with 2 guys who can drive and kick and a team full of shooters, and 12 guys who can
Well, I mean, in Miami it was myself and D Wade, and then you have Ray and Shane, and Mike, and James, and CB who hit big time threes, and Rio. So we had a lot of space, and so it's great to see a team put together for some of your playmakers, and it helps a lot.
So this is a similar model.
Yeah, similar, not all the way, but similar.
Your reaction a couple of years ago might have been a little different in terms of feeling slighted maybe, or even something like that.
In
terms of your
I don't know. I had different coaches back then, so different relationships, different teammates. Not that they're to blame, but I don't know. I don't know what my reaction would have been earlier, but I know that living in the present now and getting this win and not playing in the fourth quarter and T-Lou showing trust in not only our big fella 2-3, but in the guys that were in. It just shows the growth of our team, which I'm really excited about.
You and Kevin were both celebrating as the fourth quarter was unfolding. Why was it so awesome to see what those guys were able to do to close it out?
I mean, like I said, it's just about the growth of the team, man. We see our not our young fella, but our second-year guy, J. Matt, getting some quality minutes, playing into the third, going into the fourth, and being able to have a lineup out there that we can trust, and it's a great deal of excitement, and the reliance necessarily isn't on the normal guys every single night. Going forward, we're going to need everyone on both ends of the floor being ready to play offensively and defensively, and it's just an exciting time, man. It was an exciting game as well.
Kyrie, right now you guys are up to 13.2 made three-pointers per game. That would be an NBA record if you guys could sustain that. Was that ever a goal coming into the season or anything like that? Because right now you guys are on a historic pace.
Well, let's stay on that. Man, let's just keep letting them things fly. I know not necessarily we're going to shoot well every single night, but when you have the lineups that we have and the players that we have, and myself, Bron, Kev, we're drawing so much attention, as well as other guys coming off pick and rolls. Those other guys on the backside got to be ready to shoot. That's what we pay them for. And whether they're making plays for not only themselves but for our team, it makes us better.
Have you noticed, or could you envision a scenario where the defense stops collapsing the way that they have in the past and staying connected to your shooters?
Well, if you're living with me getting 40, Ron getting 40, Kev getting 40, then, I guess you got to pick your poison, man. If you're not going to, basically play us honest, and, you got to live with something. Like I said, another credit point to David Griffin for putting this team together and the guys that we have here. It makes it tough to guard. We're coming off pick and rolls with a shooting 5, a shooting 4, a space out 4 that is showing that he can do more than just space out and shoot this year. And he's driving closeouts and making passes and finishing over guys and being really aggressive. It makes it difficult. And when we all have that aggressive mindset and everyone is on the same page, we look pretty good.
Ty mentioned after the game he thinks you guys can get even better once you start making your shots more consistently. Besides that, is there another area where you feel like you guys can get better, more consistent?
Yeah, there's always places where we can get better. Just some defensive breakdowns that we can definitely correct. Offensively, I think we're in a lot better rhythm than we were in the beginning of the season. Defensively, we just have to be more consistent.
Would you go get some extra shots up after the game?
No, I actually lifted, man. I got my buff on. You know what I'm saying? I may not look it all the time, but I eat iron for a living. All right?